Hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about self-organizing maps in artificial neural networks. Self-organizing maps, they are a structure of neural networks based on the competitive learning. So they are based on unsupervised learning. Basically, there were two models which initially existed. They were introduced, they were given by Wilshire von den Malsberg and the other was given by Kuhnen. Okay. So both the models, they were motivated by the human brain capability of feature mapping in the lattice structure of the neurons. So the same properties being exploited, that the spatial position in which the neurons are arranged, they are capable of holding a particular feature or representing a particular feature of the network or the input which is applied. Okay, but in case of the Wilshire von der Nelsberg model, there was exploitation of the post and the presynaptic neurons, whereas the Kuhnen model was a simple two-layer structure which had the capability of dimensionality reduction. That is, any high dimensional problem could be reduced to a simple two-layer problem where one was the input layer and the other was the output layer. Further, this output layer could be 1D or that could be a two-dimensional layer arranged as rows and columns. Okay, so the complexity of uh, the model was far less in case of the Kuhnen model, which made it more popular, and it was highly efficient for the clustering problem, clustering applications. Okay, so that gave it an edge over the other model. And further, in case of the Kuhnen model also, uh, since I already told you it is based on the competitive learning. So when I say competitive learning, we have already learned that there is a winner neuron which is there in the output layer. So how to determine that winner neuron, that further diverted two classifications of the Kuhnen models. One was based on the simple competitive winner all take approach and the other was based on the vector quantization. So in case of the competitive winner take all approach, the Euclidean distance is taken as the criteria for deciding the winner, whereas in case of the vector quantization, the dot product of the input and the weight vector is taken as the criteria. So in our discussion, we are going to focus on the competitive learning based Conan self-organizing maps. Okay, so as I already told you, it is based on the unsupervised learning. So there is no output, we are target output we are going to have. There's no guidance. It is a self-exploring network which is capable of extracting the features from the network when any input is applied. Okay, so this is the typical structure of the Conan self-organizing map. So this is my input layer and this is my output layer which is arranged as a 2D. So it is arranged as a two-dimensional structure. Okay, so here if we see all the output neurons, they are arranged in a lattice. Okay, so this spatial position of output neurons in a lattice structure, that is exploited in case of coherent feature maps to represent or associate a particular capability of the network. So it is a fully connected network. So every input layer neuron is connected to every output layer neuron. Again, as we did in the competitive learning, these are the weighted connections between the input layer and the output layer neurons, whereas the connections between the output layer units, they are normally inhibitory in nature because they want to suppress each other and make themselves as a winner. So these are excitatory, whereas these connections, they are inhibitory. This we have already covered in the competitive learning block. Okay. So in this case, The neighborhood is preserved while mapping the input towards the output based on the lattice structure of the output neurons. That is, the mapping of the input and the output, it preserves the relative distance between the output neurons arranged in a particular pattern in the output layer. Okay, so with this we move ahead. So this is again the typical structure of the Conan this map, in which input pattern 01 is applied, and again output is organized as a 2D layer. So this is a row and this is a column, so it is a 2D structure which is there of the output layer, and these are obviously output neurons. The intra-layer connections are there which are inhibitory in nature. So what happens is, let's say I apply the pattern 01 here. So when the 01 pattern is applied, so this neuron which is blackened, this is actually the winner neuron which is there. Now how this winner is decided? This is based on the Euclidean distance between the input vector which is applied and the weight vector Wij between the output neurons. So by distance which is minimum between the input vector and the weight vector of the jth neuron. Okay, so that minimum distance neuron is going to be the winner. So here in this case it is the winner. Once you have decided the winner, the next thing in this Conan self-organizing map is we determine that in the neighborhood of the winner, so what are the neurons which have been excited? So all the neurons which have been excited by the application of this particular input pattern 01, they are determined by some criteria. That could be application of a Gaussian function, a Mexican hand function, or that could be determined by the nearest neighbor approach, farthest neighbor approach, distance between the means of the neighboring neurons, or distance between the medians of the neighboring neurons. So the cluster of the neurons which is affected in the neighborhood, that is determined, and that particular cluster which is identified, which is in this case shown by these gray neurons. So this means winner is the black one, and these are further neurons which are excited, but they are not having their output strength as good as this winning neuron, but still they are the affected neurons when this particular input was applied. So what I am forming is I have identified a cluster having a relative distance, maintaining a relative distance from each other, which is preserved in this topology, okay, for this particular input. So I have associated the property of my input with the topological structure of my output layers. So input, it is nothing but it is serving as the stimulus which is exciting my output layer neurons. Okay, and in the output layer I first determine my winner which is there. Once the winner is there, then its immediate neighborhood I determine what are the neurons which have been excited, and the ones which are having some excited or the output value greater than 0 but lesser than the value of the winner neuron, they are made part of the cluster, and this cluster is now associated with this particular input and set to feature map this input to this particular cluster. So this is how the clustering it takes place in the Conan self-organizing maps. So let's see as an algorithm how does it work. To see it's working, normally the Conan self-organized algorithm that is carried out in 4 stages. The first stage is for the initialization stage. In this stage, all the connection weights, they are initialized to random small values, as we have been doing in case of other algorithms also. So the weighted connections between the input and the output layer, they are, that is, this weight matrix has to be there initially. between the input layer and the output layer. So there must be some weight which is associated. Please note, amongst these output layer units, that is these intra-layer interconnections or the lateral connections, they are not weighted. Weight is associated only between the connections between the input layer and the output layer. Okay. So once the initialization is there, my next step is to introduce competition and identify my winning neuron. For this, we need a discriminant function or a function which is giving us the logic to find the winner neuron, and generally this is chosen as to be the Euclidean distance between the vector which is applied. So x represents the vector which is applied and wji represents the weight vector which exists between the jth neuron and the ith input which has been applied. Okay, so if there are n units in the input layer, my I will extend from 1 to n, and the Euclidean distance would be the summation of distance, the distance between all the input units and the all the weight matrix associated with all these input units towards a particular jth neuron. Okay, so once we find out for all the neurons, all the output neurons, we find this Euclidean distance. So this is djx. So it is found out for each output neuron. So please change this. This should be the dj. So we have Euclidean distance corresponding to each output layer unit. Okay. So once we compute it, then we see that which output unit is giving me this minimum value of dj, that is Euclidean distance. The output unit which is having this distance as a minimum, that is chosen as the winner. So this is my second stage of the competition, in which my winner is decided based on the Euclidean distance. Once I have my this Euclidean distance computed, I move on to my next phase, which is known as the cooperation phase. Now in the cooperation phase is the phase where I need to identify the cluster of neurons around my winning neuron which has been excited by the application of the given input. Like I gave you the example in my second slide. We'll just again revisit that slide. So it was here. So when 0, 1 was applied, first I identified my winner, which I've already done in the second stage. So that was the winner I decided. That was this blackened neuron. Now in my cooperation stage, I have to find this cluster of neuron in its neighborhood, which have been excited by the application of this input. Okay. So this is my third stage, what I'm going to go. So in this, for determining the neurons which have been affected in the neighborhood of the winning neuron, we again have to make use of some function. Normally this function can be a Mexican heart function or any Gaussian function, such that if Ix is the index of the winning neuron, so if there are, let's say, 10 neurons arranged as a vector in my output vector, so if that is the third is the winning neuron, so Ix would be 3. So that is the index of this winning neuron, and J is the neuron in its neighborhood about which we are computing whether it is excited or whether it is not excited. So Sj is actually the lateral distance Sjix, that is denoting the lateral distance between the jth neuron in the neighborhood of the winning neuron, and Ix is the winning neuron itself. So Sj represents the Sgi, that represents the lateral distance And what is my sigma? This sigma is actually representing my uh, the width or the size of the neighborhood. Okay, so it is the effective width which we have taken. So only the neurons which are falling within the sigma, they are going to be the part of the cluster. If none of the neighboring neurons is falling within the sigma width, as per the lateral distance, it means they are not going to be part of the winning neuron cluster. So let me try to illustrate this. Let's say this is my, I'm going to consider a single vector layer, that is one dimensional uh, output layer. So let's say this is my winning neuron. I have actually filled it, I have darkened it. So this is my winning neuron. So my Ix in this case would be, so this is 2. So I want to see whether in its neighborhood I am going to have certain winning neurons or I am not going to have any affected or the excited neurons. So I apply this function. So this is, so in this case j is what? J is going to be 1. So Sj here it is S1, 2. So this is the lateral distance and now there must be a width. So it must be some distance in Armstrongs you can measure, and sigma is the width. Now if the width of the sigma is less than this SI2, it means then I'll not be able to identify any neighboring neuron in the cluster. But if the width sigma is greater than this distance SI2, then this neuron 1 in the output would be part of my winning cluster. So I hope we are clear on this. So it taps the lateral dependency between the winning neuron and the excited neurons in its neighborhood by application of the given input. Another interesting property of this is that the width, it has to constantly keep decreasing. Why the constant? It is a time dependent function because we want to narrow down the particular lattice structure with only one unique input. We want that this set of neurons in the output or this cluster is unique to only one single pattern. So we try to make it as narrow as possible. So with each iteration which is applied, then this keeps on decreasing the width sigma. Okay, so once we have, okay, this is one example of Mexican hat function which has been used. So what is happening is, so my winning neuron is, let's say, the distance 0. So I take the center of the winning neuron as the 0th, as the origin point where the strength of the this function is going to be maximum. So as the distance increases towards the directions away from the distance away from the center of this winning neuron, the strength of this function, it starts decreasing, and once it reaches 0 at these points on both the sides, so beyond this the neighborhood, it is not defined. So any neuron which is beyond these points will not be part of the cluster. But if there is any neighborhood neuron which is falling within this distance, that can be the part of the cluster around the winning neuron as a part of the feature which has been mapped for a given input. Okay, so there are certain properties which have to be obeyed by these functions which are being used. First is, it should be maximal at the position of the winning neuron. That is, the strength should be maximum here, which is 1 in this case. Second is, it should be symmetrical about the winning neuron, which is again followed here. So its fall of strength, that should be uniform or symmetric around the winning neuron. And last property, desirable properties, that this is the strength should be decreasing as the distance from the winning neuron it is increasing. So that is also followed. Okay. So using this, we are able to identify a particular cluster which is getting affected, or I am able to identify a set of neurons bound by the fixed relative distance, which is being excited by the application of particular input, and this is said to be the feature mapping in case of Cohen self-organizing. So once it is there, now we go on to adjust the weights of the excited or the selected neurons in this cluster using this rule. So again a learning rate is used. This learning rate is again, it is a function of time and it is adaptive in nature. So it is going to keep decreasing with time. Again, for the same reason, I may want to make it narrow. Okay, and this is the application of my neighborhood identification function, and this is my calculation of the difference between the input vector and the weight vector. So in this last stage of the algorithm, self-organization maps, we now adjust the weights and we identify the particular uh, structure of the network which is associated with the particular application of the input. Okay, so only the neurons which have been excited, they are going to have the weights updated, whereas others, they will not have any change in their weight matrix or the weight connections. Okay, so we'll try to see the working of the Cohen self-organizing map through an example which will just follow. So let's see how it works. To understand the working of Cohen's self-organizing map, we'll consider this example. In this example, we have the input layer with the 4 neurons and we have 2 units, that is one-dimensional vector of output neurons with 2 units. Okay. So the initial weight vector has been given as this. So where this point 2 indicates the weight between the input x1 and the output y1, and point 8 indicates the weight between input x1 and the output y2, and so on. Okay. So the pattern which has to be applied for learning is A1 and B1. So we'll take this example for A1, and for B1 you will do it yourself. So A1 is 1, 1, 0, 0 means x1 is 1, x2 is 1, x3 is 0 and x4 is 0. The learning rate is given to be 0.6 and it halves with each iteration. Okay, that is the next iteration it will become 1 by 2 of 0.6 and so on, because it is a time dependent learning adaptive learning rate, so it decreases with each iteration. So to start with, I first compute the Euclidean distance for the output unit, that is y1. So for y1, I start with the weight vector, that is wij 0.2 minus 1. So 1 is the input. Next input is my x2. So I take x2 input as 1, and what is the weight between x2 and y1? We can see from the x2 and y1 it is 0.6. It is 0.6 minus 1. Coming to the third term, so here my x3 is 0, so this value is 0, and 0.5 comes from the weight between x3 and y1, which is 0.5, and lastly it is 0.9, which is the weight of the interconnection between x4 and y1, and 0 comes from the value of x4 to be 0. Okay, so with these values I compute by value of the Euclidean distance and it comes out to be 1.86. Similarly, I compute the Euclidean distance for the output unit y2. It is the same logic. The inputs are taken to be as in A1 1100 and weight vector used would be this. So it would come out to be 0.8 minus 1 whole square, 0.4 minus 1 whole square, plus 0.7 minus 0 whole square, and 0.3 minus 0 whole square. So this comes out to be 0.98. Now if we compare the Euclidean distances of output 1 and output 2, I see that it is minimum for the second output unit, that is Y2. So my Y2 is considered to be my winning neuron. Okay. So once I'm decided with my winning neuron, so I have to next apply my function, that is the Gaussian or the Mexican hat function, to determine the cluster of labels. But in our case, we are having only two neurons. So either one is winning, so there is no question of other neuron to come in picture or to come as a part of the winning cluster, because only two neurons are there. So I consider my t is equal to 1, and this is satisfied by the value of only winning neuron according to the function which is applied. So the other neuron, that is y1, it will have a strength which is lesser than 1, so it will not satisfy that. So my winning neuron is identified to be y2. Now I will adjust my weights of y2 using the learning rule, okay, which says learning rate into input minus the weight. So input was 1, that is x1, and the weight was 0.8. So for this you will have to just reconsider this. So this is my winning neuron weights. So this is my input. So 1 minus 0.8 I'll get. Second would be 1 minus 0.4, third would be 0 minus 0.7, and last would be 0 minus 0.3. So same values I'm using. So the weights of the second neuron in the output layer, they are updated, and after the updated weights, my changed matrix would be this. Okay, so this would continue till either the learning rate becomes too small, or we can fix up this learning for a fixed number of iterations. Okay, for the next iteration in which value of b1 is applied, I leave it to you. You try it and see what values do you get and whether you are able to understand the working of Conan self-organizing map. So I'll check the answers in the next. Thank you so much, and please do try this. It is important. Thank you so much.